Yes, sir. But again, if we look at the trading report, we find quite a bit some of activities in long-dated Naira bond 2036, 2037, like Thursday, for example. Why is it that investors, is it the price, is it the yield? What is the sentiment here among dealers and investors when it comes to these long-dated Naira papers on your platform?
I guess, person, the general sentiments across board is to stay short with all the things that are going on in the economy in general. The elections coming on board, the end of the year, obviously, it's a different sentiment when especially the banks are preparing to close their books. But we also have the impact of foreign investors who are on the net selling side of the market as well. They're selling off securities towards repatriating funds out of the market. So generally, the sentiment has been to stay within the short to the medium term, except where there are clear-cut bargains, as you would in the long terms securities, then you would find that there's quite a bit more activity at the long end of the curve in those instances.
Year to date, bring us up to speed.
It's been mixed activities, Bosons. The various factors in the market, liquidity, economic news, crude oil prices. It's not been a single general trend, in all honesty. There have been times when market has been on the upward trend. Near midterm, we saw quite a drop in yields across the market all the way into August. And it is only now just been going back up. We saw yield drop even to as low as 12% across the yield curve. So it's only now just picking up again and going back up. And a lot of that is as a result of the activities going on in the market. Year to date, it's, again, like I said, it's been typical of what a financial market would be. There's been ups, there's been downs, and that's what it is.
Okay, I'll take us through the currencies markets. It looks like during the week there was one matured currency contract that has since been replaced by the central bank as usual.
Yeah, so the November 28th contract matured as expected, and obviously all payments were made there. Quite a lot of foreign investors in that bucket, as you would imagine, in that securities, in that contract, excuse me. The OTCFX futures has continued to enjoy quite a bit of interest, and it still is a lot of foreign investors taking up the OTCFX futures. They're actually using it to hedge a lot of their positions in the market. And so we've seen the take-up of the contracts have increased within the last 2 to 3 months. There was a dip close to July and August, but now it's also on the back upwards. And it just ties in very closely to the general sentiments in the market, with quite a bit of uncertainty around on the fundamental and economic factors. Lots of people are seeking to hedge their currency risk.
But again, if you look at it, talk about currency risk, 1.08%. I beg your pardon, 0.02% down on Naira dollar yesterday at the I&E window. What's going on there?
I'd say to people, it's generally cyclical. This is what happens at the end of the year. Again, people are preparing for end of the year. Generally, we see FPIs would want to stay back and hold the currency. So you see, and repatriate, excuse me. So you find that they would be quite a bit of sell-off. And indeed, they were the net buyers of FX in the I&E window yesterday. So which is why you find that there was that pressure, a bit of pressure on the Naira in the market. So they're selling off equity, they're selling off their fixed income securities, and they are seeking the dollar to repatriate their funds back to their parent companies, and that demand is why you have a bit of the depreciation on the currency.
Pressure over? Will the pressure be over by December? The new month, we're starting on Monday?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that, person.
I was asking if the pressure on the market, whether it's currency, debt, or whatever, will begin to ease off in December. Do you think investors have taken enough of the market or out of the market at the moment?
Well, I think the market is in a better place and able to address the pressures that it's experienced. Because if you look at the volumes seeking to be taken out vis-a-vis the rate of depreciation, then the market is absorbing it well enough. More so, we must say the central bank is committed and has, shown its commitment to ensuring that it supports the liquidity in the market, and we've seen them, steadily and continuously commit to providing the liquidity required and even when it is required. And I think that is what has helped tapered the amount of depreciation that we've experienced in the FX market. So it is a case of we see if there's going to be more depreciation, but I do believe that anyone who was going to repatriate would have already set that ball rolling already by now. I think we will have seen quite a bit of that demand already in the market. But we will see how the market goes as they open next month.
Well, okay, let's lay back, enjoy the weekend that takes us into December, then we'll get together some other time. Thank you very much, Jumoke Olaniyan, Vice President in charge of market architecture at FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. Let's take a little break, then we're back. What's the economy and the markets looking like in the new month? Stick around.